Hey, good evening, everybody. It's John Wayne Mullins, and today's day 82 on my 100-day challenge of going live each and every night here on Mr. New Dad. It's been an incredible 82 days, learned a lot, continuing to learn a lot. And one of the things I've been learning is that when you take a step in the unknown, into an idea, into an experiment, great things are on the other side of that. You just have to go all in and be okay being uncomfortable and learn what you don't know and see what you find out. But it's been an amazing journey. I certainly appreciate all the comments, all the feedback, all the questions, and I certainly hope that it's been extremely helpful to all my new dads who follow me. So tonight we're talking about one of my favorite subjects when it comes to personal growth and leadership, for that matter. And it's on the subject of self-awareness. I'm always looking for topics to discuss, and so if you would like me to discuss something, or if you have a topic you would like to either come on here and discuss it with me, or I can do a show by myself and talk about. Uh, Feel free to comment below, and I'd love to hear some of my different ideas. So, self awareness. What is self awareness? Why is it important? Um, so, where I was going with all this is I'm always looking for content, like I said. And so today I pulled out one of my go to books and one of my favorite books. I read this before Evan was born. I read this about 10 years ago. I think I've read this about 5 times, but it's John Eldridge's Wild at Heart. Discovering the Secret of a Man's Soul. Now he's written like 4 more books since this was the first one, and but this is like the gold. It is just it's rich and it really makes you think. But in the second chapter, he was talking about a topic. He was talking about self awareness. And hey, good evening, Eric, and thanks for being here. I always appreciate you. We're talking about self awareness tonight and ways that you can increase your self awareness and why it's important as a dad, as a man, as a husband. Uh, so I was reading John Eldridge's book, uh, A Lot at Heart tonight, earlier today. And in the second chapter, he opened up the paragraph and he said, how do you see yourself as a man? Are words like strong, passionate, and dangerous words you would choose? Do you have the courage to ask those in your life what they really think of you as a man, as a husband, or as a dad? What words do you fear they would choose? I mentioned the film Legends of the Fall, how every man who sees it wants to be Tristan, but most see themselves as Alfred or Samuel. Or I've talked to many other men about the film Braveheart, and though every single one of them would love to be William Wallace, the dangerous war hero, most see themselves as Robert the Bruce, the weak, intimidated guy who keeps folding under pressure. So, what? Let's kind of. I want to break that down and what that really means. What he is, why he is asking that question, and what what happens when you start to go on this growth journey, when you start to begin to ask questions that can really unveil who you really are. Because last night and this week, I've been talking about where do you start as a man? Where do you start as a dad? When is the right time to start investing in yourself? John, I get questions like, John, I know I want to become a better dad, or I have this idea of the type of dad I want to become, but I just don't know where to start. Tonight, we're going to talk about self awareness because at the end of this, I'm going to show you how by asking these questions, it can give you a starting place. So if you're looking for that place, here's a great tool. So let's remember that I said this weeks ago, but when it comes to personal growth in any area of your life, it's a daily process. It certainly isn't going to happen overnight. We know that. It develops daily in your actions when you take them, and when you take responsibility for that growth that you want to achieve. So to grow and become better in any area of your life requires you to learn something, take a step, not be afraid to fail. Take a step, continue that learning of taking steps and getting on that process. And when you're doing it right, you're not only seeing failures, but you're seeing massive growth. And you start to see some small wins to occur. You start to see relationships improve. You start to see better relationships with your kids, with your wife, with your family. You start to have better conversations, all because you started. That's my point. Start. So here's a way that I have found. Um, it's a tool that I use. I learned about it in grad school, but what it does, it helps you really see yourself. It helps you to really get to know who you are. This tool that I'm talking about is called the Johari window. And so, and again, why use this tool? Well, again, this answers that question of how much do you really know about yourself? And how do you really see yourself? Because that's so important, because I believe that oftentimes we can hide behind things that we want people to think about ourselves, or we can put this facade out there that that we're this person, and when in reality we're not. It's our insecurities that can really limit us, and those insecurities oftentimes um, can create limiting beliefs about the way we hold about ourselves. Eric, I'm just reading some comments. Why boys need to be in motion. I was a great dad today up until the kids got off the bus. Hey, all right. Um, so back to the Johari window. This is a simple and useful tool for understanding and training self-awareness, personal development, improving communications, and your interpersonal relationships with your wife, with your kids, or even with yourself. So how does it work? Has anybody who's watching this, has anybody ever taken a 360 assessment? What this does is you take this assessment and you score yourself in all these different areas and competencies and thoughts, and you rank yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 of where you think you are. Like, oh, I'm a 10 when it comes to this. I'm a 6 when it comes to this. I'm not so well in this area. Well, the first time that I took an assessment like this, I took it and I knew what I was getting myself into, because I wanted to grow. I wanted to become a better leader. And so I bit the bullet. I'm a big fan of these now that I've actually gone through the process and actually coach people now on this process, because it helps you improve and build your self-awareness. So I took it and I scored myself on all these different areas of personal growth, of leadership, of personal characteristics about myself. And then I shared it with my boss, my peers, people who worked for me, my boss's boss. And I had them ask and rate me on the exact same thing that I just ranked myself on. And then at the end of it, you get this data, this big circle, and what it does, it shows where you ranked yourself and where others ranked yourself. And no lie, in areas where I marked myself low, people ranked me high, and where I marked myself high, people marked me low. And so think about that for a moment. I'm operating in a space where I'm thinking, hey, I'm good. I'm this. When my peers, my boss, my boss's boss, people work for me say, actually, no, you're not. But where you marked yourself low, we actually say, you're actually really good at that. And so what does that do? What does that do for you? What does that tell you about yourself? Think about what information that can reveal about you. And do you think it can give you a starting point on, hey, if you're looking for a starting point on where to begin and develop as a dad, a husband, as a man, this would be a great tool to use, because it can give you that starting place. It can have those initial conversations with people that you certainly know, like, and trust, and value and appreciate and respect their opinion, and that know you really well. And so Again, I did it. I took the assessment, and it led to some very rich conversations, and I learned a lot about myself. And it really made me kind of shift gears. And it's like, wow, I really need to focus on this because my peers, my boss's boss, the people who work for me, all say that I need to improve in this area. So the Johari window is a feedback um, tool that works just the same. But what it does, there's a list of different characteristics that you go through this whole list of different characteristics, and you pick out 5 or 6, and those are things that you know about yourself, that you say, yes, this is me. And then you take that exact same list of 35 different characteristics and you give them out to people who you respect, who know you really well, your spouse. You can give them to your kids. You can give them to your dad, your parent, anybody who really knows you well, and say, hey, you know what? I am trying to develop myself as a better dad, as a better husband, a better man. And I'm taking this assessment and I want to learn what I don't know about myself. Would you mind taking this assessment? Sure, John. Sure thing. So they give them the same rules. You say, just pick out 5 or 6 different characteristics that say, this is John. This defines you really well. And then you put that into this quadrant. Let me see if I can. I don't think I can. Let me see if I can. Well, nope, I don't have it. Anyway, and you put it into this quadrant that is, these are the things that are known by me. These are my areas that are known by me, but then these are the different areas that is unknown by me. So you take the 4 or 5 people that did the assessment and you compare those with what you said about yourself. And what the idea is, you can compare the different characteristics of what is known to you, what you know about yourself, and you compare them with what things are known by others. And so that begins to build that awareness of like, oh, they said I'm really good at this, and so did I. I'm in a good area. But what about those things that you say about yourself that others don't know, that are not known to other people? These are those things that you were telling yourself, where it's like, oh, I'm a really good communicator, or ask really great questions, or I'm really present. But your peers, your children, your husband or your wife, and your anyone you give this to say, I don't know that about John. I wouldn't say that about him. So that's another area. They're known to you, but they're not known to other people. Now, there's 4 quadrants. The third one are areas that are known by you, but they're not known. They're known to others, but they're not known to you. Those are your blind spots. This is the area where I focus on as a coach, and it helps you to identify the things that other people know about you that you don't. And so think about this. And this takes a lot of humble pie, but it also takes a lot of maturity, because you are getting raw, solicited feedback about yourself that is not known about yourself. Or you may be hiding behind it. You may be ignoring it. You may know it, but you're ignoring it. But what it leads to is conversations with that person that, remember, you know, like, and trust and respect, and say, how can I improve in this area? If I really want to be this example of a dad, and that's what we're talking about, if I really want to have these boundaries, if I really want to have these core values, but I'm not living them, and other people are seeing that, but you're not, do you think that might get in your way? Do you think? It certainly could. So, Johari window, one of my favorite tools when it comes to building self-awareness, because at the end of the day, like I said, this leads to that conversation with those people that you know, like, and trust and respect, and with yourself. And if you have a coach, it can even lead into a better conversation, because then you can begin to build a roadmap to overcome that, and decrease those blind spots, and help yourself get to know them things about yourself, but then also allow other people get to know the things that you may be holding on to, or you're not sure how to expose, or you're not sure how to engage or show up. These are all things, these are all different questions I've been asked, and I know so many men and so many dads who struggle with this. So don't feel like you're alone. Don't feel intimidated by these types of tools, because I will tell you what, dads, this is the difference. These are the things that our wives want us to know about ourselves. These are the things that I believe you want, but you don't know how to get there. And so these conversations can begin to point you in the direction of getting to that place, of being that dad, of being that husband. But sometimes, a lot of times, I'm talking to myself here, we can get in our own way. We can. Our beliefs, the thoughts, the things we tell about ourselves, the thoughts we tell in our head, our habits, good or bad, can get in our way. Even our strengths sometimes can get in our way. So that's why I'm a big advocate for being involved with a community of men. I have a coach. I've had a coach for several years. I'm a big fan of having this, because I know something about myself. I get in my way a lot, but I have a really great coach who calls my BS, my bogus story, who calls me out, who isn't afraid to ask me those really tough questions that really may be uncomfortable, but those are the questions I need to be asked. Because if I'm trying to achieve this, and if I really want to be this ideal image of this dad, this husband, this leader, sometimes you need to have those conversations. And it may sting a little, but you need it. Sometimes we need that, because that will get us going. So I certainly hope each and every one of you who've been watching this, if you're catching the replay, hit hashtag replay. That kind of drives the video of this out to my audience even more. So I would appreciate that. But if you're live with me tonight, I certainly appreciate you listening, and any feedback, I'm open to it. Have you heard of the Johari window? Or have you taken other similar types of assessments or tools to help you build your self-awareness? What do you currently use to increase your awareness about yourself? What are things you use to really get to know yourself? I'd love to hear them. We can talk about them. Like I said, if there's a topic you want me to cover, I certainly will get on here, and we can take a deep dive into them. A couple things. First week of January, I'm starting an 8-week group coaching program for new dads. I'm only looking for about 10 dads, 10 to 12 dads. I'm capping it at 12. So if you'd like to be in that, feel free to comment below, or send me a direct message. I'd be able to send you over some information to tell you more about the program. And then the third thing is, I'm doing more of these each and every night. So I certainly appreciate all the love, all the comments, all the messages. So keep them coming. Coaching, individual coaching. Like I said earlier, I have a coach. I've been working with a coach for several years. He's the one who actually encouraged me to get on here for 100 days in a row, and here I am. If you are looking for a coach, or if you want to know more about how to work with a coach, I'd love to. I give away a 30-minute complimentary coaching session for all my new dads, for all of my actually even the leaders I work outside of Mr. New Dad. It's something that I offer. So if you'd like to learn more about that, feel free to either comment below or send me a direct message, because I'm looking for about 6 guys. My calendar, I'm opening it up for January, but I'm looking to add about 6 more slots for the month. And if you'd like to learn more about that, like I said, feel free to follow me and hit me up and let me know. So until tomorrow's going to be day 83. So men, we have 17 days 17 days until the end of the year. That means we have about 12 days of Christmas. What? So I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Be awesome, be well, and take care. See you, everybody.